Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to do a class that's going to focus mostly on the upper portion of our body, the mid body, and we're going to focus on letting go. So in order to move into the new year, into our goals and intentions, so we need to let go of some things that no longer serve us. So we're going to start here in a moment, but first you might need a block if you'd like to sit up on a block, and a strap could also come in handy if you have tight shoulders. So grab those. If you don't have those, maybe a scarf or a belt would work. And these are optional, of course. You don't need the block. So we're going to start seated, and you can sit like I am seated in a cross-legged position, or I actually prefer sitting on the block for this one. You don't have to, of course. So I'll show what we're going to do, and you can decide what you'd like to do. We're just going to work on a little neck stretch here. So I like to sit up on the block because it helps me sit up tall and straight. So see what you like. If this doesn't work for your knees, then stay seated like I showed you. So in here, we're going to inhale here, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to bring our right arm out to the right and let it hover above the ground, and then bring your neck, your left ear down to your left shoulder. So we're going to open up this part of our neck here. So we're going to really bring the left ear down to your left shoulder and really stretch that right hand out and over to the right hand side. Out like you're trying to touch the ground, but don't actually touch it. You should feel a nice little stretch here. So sometimes when we have tension, one of the places that a lot of us hold that tension might be in our upper backs, our shoulders, and our neck. So we're going to help kind of release that. So the idea of today's class is to help us let go of things that no longer serve us. Go ahead and keep breathing here in this pose. So in order to move forward and in order to come into new goals and manifestations of intentions we may have for this new year or any time actually, it's good to let go of things that no longer serve us. Go ahead and bring your head back up, and now we'll bring the left hand out to the left side. Let it hover and dangle here. Go ahead and and you can use your hand if you'd like to gently bring your neck so that your right ear is to your right shoulder, towards your right shoulder, I should say. And breathe here for a few rounds. So when we're able to let go of things that no longer serve us, so that might be a variety of things. It might be too much on your plate. It might be you need to say no to some things. Maybe it's something that it's not good for you in your life, and you realize that, and it's not serving you in any way. This might be a good time just let that go. So when we're doing these poses, think about those things and let those go, or think about what you'd like to let go of. And from here, go ahead and bring your head back up. And now we're going to go into what is called cow face arms. So this one can be difficult for some people. That's where the strap may come in handy, or a modification. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing here. Hopefully my feet aren't too dirty. It's always hard when I come out on the mat with, no matter how clean they are, I swear they get dirty walking out here. All right, so I'm going to turn around for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the right arm first. So you can take that right arm up overhead and bend it at the elbow like you're doing a tricep stretch. And you could stay right here. This is also a great shoulder opener. So you could use your left hand to pull that in and really open up that shoulder a bit. Or if you feel like it, you can go ahead and take your left hand, bring it around behind your back, and you may find that you're maybe here. You might be here. The idea is, and obviously I've been doing this for a while, my shoulders are pretty open. I'm able to clasp my hands. If you're able to clasp your hands, fantastic. If you're not, there's no concern there. You can always grab a strap. You can use that strap to help bridge that gap. So, you could use this, and maybe you're here. Or you could use your t-shirt, or you could just leave that hand where it is, and this will be a great opener. So find where you're at. Don't get hung up on where you need to be in that pose. Just see where you're at, and that's something else that we need to do. And with yoga, it teaches us that we're not always. Maybe we think we should be somewhere else. Maybe you think you should be able to clasp your hands like I am able to. Maybe you've not done yoga ever, or only a couple times. That may be hard for you to do. So drop the expectations. Don't consider it a failure, but look to see where you are now. And a month from now, maybe if you're doing some more of these openers, see where you are. Go ahead and let go of that clasp, and now we'll do the other side. So again, pick whatever variation works best for you, and the other side may be different. We're not always, even though we're symmetrical, we're asymmetrical in a lot of respects. So go ahead and bring that left hand up overhead and bend it over. And you can either just stay right here, using that right hand to pull in that left elbow in the amount. You could bring this right hand around and behind you, and it can be anywhere. Maybe fish it up, kind of go into the other hand, and just stay there and grab a hold of your shirt if you'd like to. Whatever you feel is best for you. Practice with the body that you have today. And let go of that expectation. Let go of what you think is the perfect posture. The perfect posture is what feels good in your body and what works for you. So keep that in mind, please. Inhale here, another round. I will say over time, you will start to open up a little bit. So you got tight shoulders, it's just part of it. One more inhale. And exhale and let that go. All right, we can go ahead and get rid of the block. If you were sitting on that, you can get rid of the strap. We don't need that any further. And now we're going to come to all fours. So go ahead and come to all fours just for a brief moment. And we're going to do what is called puppy pose. So puppy pose is like a mini down dog. So you're going to step your hands, keep your knees where they're at, underneath of your hips, and go ahead and step your hands way out in front of you. So a nice big step here. This is going to be a nice shoulder, tricep, chest, all that opener. And then you're going to bring your forehead down to the mat and stretching forward here. So you're going to keep your hips up in the air. Your arms are stretched forward. And you're going to breathe here with your forehead on the ground. Or if you have that block and you find it's hard for you to get your head to that block, to the floor, to the ground, then use that block to help support your head. So you have some options here. But the idea is having your forehead grounding into something. You want to be careful so you don't crank your neck. So if you find this isn't working for you, then come into child's pose, or you can skip this pose altogether. I'm going to come out of it for a moment and talk you through it. So go ahead and breathe there in that pose, stretching there. And again, you'll really feel that in your shoulders and your triceps and your back. Just stretch into that. And you'll also, one of the effects of having the forehead on the ground, it's a little pressure point there, will actually help to calm the mind a bit. So come into that for a moment. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Really letting that go there. One more inhale. And exhale. And then go ahead and come back up to all fours. And I did lie, you're actually going to need the block another round here if you have it. If you don't have a block, don't worry about it. I'll show you a modification. So for fours, we're going to go ahead and step that. Just have the block nearby. Step your right foot forward. We're going to come into a lunge. Now in this lunge, we're going to be a little different. We're going to come a little bit more upright. So what we're doing here, let's see if I can not fall over. I'm actually going to turn around the other way because the sun is starting to get in my eyes a bit. So step that right foot forward. And what we're going to go for here is a lot of times we'll kind of really sink forward. But right now we're going to target a different group of muscles. So we're going to go for the hip flexor and the quads here. So be a little bit more upright. So you're going to be more 90-degree angle. So you're going to have more upright so your left hip is stacked over your left knee. And you're also going to have your pelvis tilted under a bit. So your tailbone is tilted underneath. So that you'll really feel that. You'll see a difference. Like if you were to kind of stick your booty back, so to speak, you would notice you'll take that off. But if you really kind of tuck that tailbone under, you should start to really feel a stretch there in your quads and your hip flexors. So go ahead and breathe here for a moment and get this block ready if you have it. If you don't, you can always just have your hand on your knee. And we're just going to do a side bend over to the right. This will open up the left side body. So inhale that the left arm up overhead, and keeping that the tailbone tucked under. Inhale, and then exhale and go ahead and side bend over to the right. So your left hand is coming over to the right, your body's bending over to the right, but you're really opening up this left side. If you don't have a block, you can always just use your leg to stabilize you. It might be a little wobbly, that's okay. So whatever you have, or if your arms are longer, mine are not, they won't reach the ground. If they do, then you can go ahead and use the ground too. Breathe here for a moment. This is a strong pose. It's a nice opener. And then inhale and come back up. And now we're just going to step that right foot back and we'll step the left foot forward. And you can bring the block to the other side, to the left side. And same idea. So on this side, we're setting up to, instead of dipping forward, really kind of pulling back so that we have a 90-degree angle here more. Inhale and get tall. Tilt your pelvis so you've got your tailbone tucked under. You should really feel it right there. I certainly can. This is great. If you have tight quads, this is a great one to do anytime just to help open them up more. And then you're going to inhale that right arm up overhead and exhale and side bend over to the left. So you should feel a nice stretch all along this entire right side. Breathing here. And also part of letting go is letting go of negativity, any failures that you've encountered, not getting hung up on those, because sometimes that will hold us back from doing things we really want to do. So try to let go of those things. See things in a more positive light, even when things aren't great. Inhale and come back up. And then from here, we're going to do a little challenge before we finish out class. We've got a little bit more to go here. So you are welcome to do as much or as little of this as you can do. You can always skip it. So we're going to come into a plank. We're going to hold plank for about 30 seconds. So this is just a challenge to see kind of where we're at. Now by plank, you can either be here for plank or you can have your knees down for plank. That is fine. Whatever feels good for you. But from here, we're going to go ahead and hold for 30 seconds. So go ahead and get into your position. Breathe in and out through your nose. If you get tired, put the knees down. Do what you need to do here. And really just feel your core fire up here. Feel the strength in your legs. Feel the strength in your arms. Feel all of that. And if you think you can't do it, hang on a little bit longer. See if you can. Challenge yourself. 5 more seconds. You got this. And release back down. Go into a nice child's pose for a moment. Just a brief moment here. Let that go. And then we're going to go ahead and come forward all the way down. We're going to come into a couple rounds of Cobra. So go ahead, forehead to the ground. Your hands will be next to your chest. Shoulders along your side. Bring your shoulder blades away from your neck. And inhale and come up to whatever version of Cobra works for you. So it might be a lower Cobra today. It might be a medium. It might be all the way up. See where you are today. Try not to let your shoulders do this. You're trying to open them up. So if you need to start with a baby Cobra, then go for that. And exhale back down. We'll do 2 more rounds. So pick the variation of Cobra that works for you. Inhale and come up to Cobra. Rising out of your pelvis and your hips. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale once more. And now this time, go ahead and look over your right shoulder. And then look over your left shoulder. And exhale back down. And then from here, we're going to do 1 locust, or you can go ahead and stick with Cobra if that works best for you. So locust is your hands are down by your sides, and you're going to lift everything off the ground except for your hips. So your chest, your arms, your legs, lift it all. This is a great back body strengthener. Really feel everything engaged. And exhale, release all that. Wonderful job. Go and flip over onto your back. We'll do a quick bridge pose, couple of twists, and then we're done. So go ahead and come over. Soles of feet on the ground. And when you're ready, go ahead and set yourself up. Lift those hips up off the ground. Come into a nice bridge pose to kind of release the work that you did in plank. Fired up the core a bit. Breathe here. Catch your breath. Exhale, lower back down. Bring your knees into your chest. We're just going to do a simple twist to the side. So go ahead and bring both your knees over to the left. Right arm out to the side. Simple supine twist. Just let all that go from your spine. You can look straight up. You can look off to the side. I am grateful that I'm recording this in a beautiful national forest in Florida, and looking up is just amazing. So I hope that you have a chance to be either outdoors or in something nice to look at when you're looking up. Inhale, bring your knees back in, and same thing over to the right. Left arm out to the left. You can breathe here, and again, you can look in any direction you like. Inhale, bring your knees to your chest, and you can go ahead and lie out into Shavasana there if you'd like for this last minute or so of class. We've got some time left, so don't feel like you have to rush out. So go ahead and come into your Shavasana. I'm going to come up and just guide you through it for a moment here. I hope you found that this class was beneficial for you, and I hope that it's a very short and sweet class, but I think that a lot of times people need the shorter classes just to get some movement in their bodies and a way of letting go and moving some energy out. So go ahead and let everything go into the mat. Just breathe here, in and out through your nose. And even though this was a short class, you still have moved some energy throughout your body. You challenge yourself in plank. Maybe it was a challenge to do the cow face arms with maybe you do the strap, or maybe that was just not something you could do right now, and that's okay. Over time, you may find you'll be able to do that. And if not, that also is okay. So I'd like to leave you with a quote while you're in Shavasana, and this is by Evita Oshel. Yoga does not start or end on your mat, but it is present in every breath you take. So yoga is not just this physical postures we do on the mat. It also carries us off the mat. So I hope the little bit of knowledge that I can intersperse in through the class helps you realize that. Take yoga with you. See how it can help enrich your life. Thank you again for joining me. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana if you've got the time. If not, I understand. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.